All right, Stacey, as we mentioned before the break, we are going to be working with short ribs today, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
What's this dish called?
This dish is called cider braised short ribs.
You know, and you lost me. You had me at cider.
Yes, yes.
So we're working with short ribs, I see. And the way these are cut, they have to be braised, don't they, for a while?
They do. They need about 4 or 5 hours to cook.
Okay. So what's our first step in this dish, what we're going to be doing?
Well, we're going to take these beautiful short ribs and we're going to salt and pepper them up a little bit.
Awesome.
And we're going to just sear them really in a really high heat pan, just so we can get some nice brown bits on it and sear in those nice juices and give it lots of flavor to start with.
And it renders that fat out real nice too, doesn't it?
It does. It gets some of the fat out. You do want some of the fat for flavor, but you do want to get a little bit of it out of the short ribs themselves. So we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to cook these off, get a nice little brown on them.
And you love it when it's talking to us like this,
Absolutely.
huh?
I need that. All right. So after we've got some color on them, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take these short ribs back out of the pan.
How long do they actually need to go in here before?
They need about 7 minutes aside, just to get nice and caramelized and brown and crispy on each side. You don't have to do all 4 sides.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and take these back out of our pan here.
And you can also just begin to smell that immediately. You know,
yeah.
that real beefy, steak smell.
Absolutely yummy.
Yeah, this is actually a cheap cut of meat.
It is.
Honestly.
It is. And you can pick it up really cheap, and you can get a lot of it, and cook them off and even freeze them so you have them, for a couple of meals. So in here I'm just going to do some
onion, celery,
and garlic.
A little garlic.
Building those flavors.
A lot of garlic.
A lot of garlic. Building up those flavors. I think fall cooking is about layering flavors and getting them all nice together and letting them just meld together.
You know, I love the one-pot dishes that you can do in fall and winter,
I know, it's beautiful. And I just got a little bit of honey, a little bit of sweetness in our little ribs here.
I'll get that out of your way.
Thank you. And I got a couple bay leaves. And then just a little bit of Dijon mustard.
And that Dijon mustard is going to do what to this recipe?
It's going to add a little bit of acidity to it, and it's just going to help bind everything together. Okay. And then we have our beef stock.
There you go, I got that.
And here's the magic ingredient.
Yeah,
our cider.
This cider. Now, why cider and not just the juice?
Well, the cider gives it some sweetness, and when it reduces, it gets the short ribs all nice and glazed and beautiful.
That sediment that's in that is so good.
Oh, yes. And then we just go ahead and put these back in.
Okay.
And we're going to cover them, and we're going to cook them at 300 for 4 to 5 hours. Okay. And they will actually just fall right off the bone. So you don't even, if you just go in and touch them and the meat falls off the bone, they're ready to roll.
So you slow and low is what we're talking about here.
Yes.
So lid goes back on it,
yes.
And we're just going to put this in the oven.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get this out of the way because we've got one in the oven already. We'll just set this over here for now.
Yes, we do.
Okay. All righty. Now, you're going to do root vegetables with this thing.
Yes.
I think root vegetables are one of the most underdone items. People just don't understand when you get them all together in one side, how good they are. And the other thing is how well they soak up all the flavors of what's around them.
Yes, they do.
It's amazing.
They do.
What do you have for root vegetables today?
Well, I did what was available this time of year. I have a celery root, and most people are not familiar with celery root.
No, they're not.
And these are absolutely delicious, and they actually have the consistency of a potato, but they taste like celery.
Like a mild kind of celery.
Absolutely,
But they're really creamy and starchy.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And they're really good. I'm just going to show everyone how to use these because they look a little intimidating. They're a little bit rough looking, a little bit ugly, and they're a little dirty. So
once you get inside them, though, they're nice. That's the amazing part.
They're nice. So you just cut off the ends. And they are really tough. They're very tough.
Let me get this out of your
Sure.
way here.
And you just take all the outsides off.
Make sure you have a sharp knife.
You need a very sharp knife and a steady hand.
If it slips, then that's where a lot of times where the problems come when you're using a dull knife.
That's right. There we go. And then all you do is you just dice these up. You just dice them up into, a a good size. You don't want to make them too small because they'll cook too fast, and you really do want them to go for a while.
Yeah. I'm seeing that all your root vegetables are the same size.
Yes.
How's that help things?
They'll actually, so they can all roast at the same temperature, and they'll all be done at the same exact time.
There you go.
So in this bowl, I got some parsnips, rutabaga, turnips, white sweet potato, the regular orange sweet potato.
I love it.
A little bit of red potato just for color, and our celery root.
You know, rutabaga is another one of those things too that you just don't see a lot of.
And people are intimidated by it, and they may have tried it when they were a kid, when their mom made them eat it, and then they
probably
don't like
cooked it too long and mushed it up.
You're right.
That's probably why you didn't like it.
You're right. So with these, I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, and I'm just going to toss them around. Get them nice and coated, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of sage and rosemary to them for a little bit extra flavor.
Awesome.
And then I'm just going to throw them on a roasting pan.
Yeah, we've got a roasting pan right here.
And there we go. And that's it. We're going to pop them in the oven at 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Fork tender. You just want them fork tender and a little bit brown.
Okay. Now, really, this is something you can do early in the day.
Yep.
And stick it in the oven, and then just when it comes out, it'll be dinner time.
That's right.
It's like late morning, you know, that's when you start on it. And then you won't have a lot of dishes. You have time to clean up all your dishes.
That's right.
Pull it out. It's almost a one-pot dish, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is.
So let's get this in the oven,
Okay.
and we'll begin to pull out that other stuff we got in there. All right, Stacey, I'll bring out the short ribs first, and look at those things.
Those look amazing.
I know you said they're just fork tender, probably,
They are.
right? They just come
They
right
just
off
fall
the
right
bone.
off the bone. See, that meat's just coming right off the bone.
And how long did you actually have these in the oven?
I did these for about 4 hours.
Okay.
Okay, and they're just, I mean, the meat's just coming right off.
And I'll get these root vegetables.
Okay.
There you go on that. So, you know, just to plate this thing, I guess, is pretty easy. And we got our big bowl right here.
Family
This is kind of like
style.
family style, isn't it?
Yes,
So
it is.
how do we do this?
I would do the root vegetables on the bottom, and then I'm going to put the short ribs over the top just so they absorb all that good flavor. Okay?
I'll put it over here to the side.
All right.
God, they smell so sweet when
They
they're
are very
roasted
sweet.
off, you know?
They are very sweet. I mean, and each one, you know, lends a different flavor to the dish. All right. Then I'm going to put some of the short ribs right over the top.
Look at that bay leaf in there. I'll pull that out there
thank you.
for you.
See how
I
these
know.
are just
Look at that
falling
thing
right
just
off the
falling
bone.
apart. You know, short ribs are one of my favorite, you know, long, slow cooking meats. But you can really do it with any kind of roast or,
Yes, you can.
or anything like that.
I'm just going to grab this towel.
You go ahead.
from you.
And then just put a little bit of
the
that
juice
good
right over the
stuff
top.
over top.
And there we go.
All right. There we go. When we come back, we're making one of my favorite fall desserts. But first, it's time to announce our winner of the Cookin' with Kroger sweepstakes.